Good morning, students. I hope you all are doing great. Yesterday we started chapter 1, George's Secret Key to the Universe. Today we will continue the reading of the chapter. But before that, let's have a recap. Yesterday we read George enters in an abandoned house to find his pet. But when he enters the house, he observes that the house is not empty. A girl named Annie lives there with her father, Eric, who is a scientist. George finds many interesting things in the clutter of books and papers. But the thing which fascinates George the most is Eric's computer. It's not an ordinary computer, it's very small and glossy. It's neat and powerful, and the sort of a computer which one can find on the spaceship. And one peculiar feature of Eric's computer is that it can talk like a human being. And the name of Eric's computer is Cosmos. Eric forgets to introduce Cosmos to George, and that offends Cosmos. He gives his own introduction to George that I am the most powerful computer. In future, there can be more powerful computers than me, but there are none in the present or the past. Eric requests Cosmos to tell George how a star is born, but Cosmos declines his request. He reminds Eric that unless or until George takes the special oath, such information cannot be shared with George. And then Eric requests George to take the oath which is mentioned or written on the board. There are specific words written on the board, and the meaning of the oath is that whatever the knowledge George will gain that day, he will use that knowledge for the welfare of the humanity. He will not be using that knowledge for his own self-interest, or if he would use the knowledge against the humanity or against the nature or against the earth, whatever he has gained, the mysteries of the universe and the wonders of the universe would remain or may remain hidden from him. So this was the oath which George takes. Now we proceed our reading further. Eric clapped. Annie burst an empty crisp packet. Cosmos flashed a rainbow of bright colors across his screen. When George completed his oath, Eric clapped for him. In a state of sheer excitement, Annie burst an empty crisp packet and Cosmos flashed a rainbow of bright colors across his screen. Well done, George, said Eric. Cosmos will now show us how a star is born. Well done, said Cosmos, playing a little computerized fanfare to the universe. What is the meaning of fanfare? It's a loud, short piece of music played to introduce someone important. Finally, the room was getting darker and darker. Come and sit here, George called Annie, who had already settled herself on the big comfy sofa. Comfy means comfortable. George sat down next to her, and after a few seconds he saw a tiny beam of very bright white light. It came directly from Cosmos' screen. The beam shot out into the middle of the room, where it wavered for a second before it began to sketch a shape in the air. What happens after some time, that a tiny beam of bright white color light, it appeared on the Cosmos screen, and from there it shot out into the middle of the room, where it flickered. Wavered means flickered, where it fluttered or where it flickered for a second before it began to sketch a shape, and it started making some shape or what you can say some pattern in the air. But that looks like George began to speak. He started making a guess that what that shape could be. A window, said Eric proudly. His sentence was completed by Eric that it was a window. Cosmos has made us a window on the universe. Watch closely. The beam of light disappeared, leaving the window it had drawn in the middle of Eric's sitting room hanging in mid-air. The beam of light which appeared from Cosmo's screen, it made a window in the middle of Eric's sitting room that was hanging in mid-air, and after that beam of light disappeared. It now looked exactly like a real window. It had a big sheet of glass in the pane and a metal frame. Beyond it, there was a view, and that view was not of Eric's house or of any house, road or town or anywhere else that George had ever seen before. "George," said Cosmos in his mechanical voice, "there are billions and billions of stars in the universe. New stars are created all the time. They are born in giant clouds of dust and gas. I'm going to show you how it happens." Cosmos told George that there are billions and billions of stars in the universe and new stars are created all the time. The stars are born in the giant or gigantic clouds of dust and gas, and now he will tell them that how this happens. "How long does it take for a star to be born?" George asked. George put a question to Cosmos that how much time it takes for a star to be born. "Tens of millions of years," replied Cosmos. "I hope you are not in a hurry." Cosmos mocked George that he expected that he is not in a hurry because it takes tens of millions of years for a star to be born. He has to wait that amount of time period to see the birth of a star. "Tut tut," said Eric, sitting cross-legged on the floor beside the sofa. "Don't worry, George. I have speeded it up quite a lot. You will still get home for dinner." Eric told George that he was sitting beside the sofa, cross-legged. He told George that he need not worry. He had speeded up the speed of the Cosmos and he would reach his home safely and timely before dinner. I think this is enough for the day. The next part of the reading we will be covering tomorrow. Read the chapter again and complete the assignment in your fair notebook. Bye. Have a great day.